Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। We started Shlok 14. Yesterday we completed up to Shlok 13 of chapter 20th, 10 to 15. ततद्वीपपतिः प्रेयव्रतो राजन् हिरण्यरेता नाम स्वं द्वीपं सप्तभ्यः स्वपुत्रेभ्यो यथा भागं विभज्य स्वयं तप्रातिष्ठत् वसुवसुधान् दृढरुचिना अभिगुप्त स्तुत्यव्रत विविक्त वामदेव नामभ्यः. O king, another son of Maharaj Priyavrat, Hiranyareta, was the king of this island. He divided it into 7 parts, which he delivered to his 7 sons according to the rights of inheritance. The king then retired from family life to engage in austerities. The names of those sons are Vasu, Vasudhana, Dadharuchi, Stutyavratta, Nabhigupta, Vivikta, and Vaman and Vamadev. तेषां वर्षेषु सीमागिर्यो न दक्षाभिज्ञाता है सप्त सप्तेव चक्रशत्रुशृंगः कपिलक्षित्रकुटो देवी नागौध्वरोमा द्रविण इति रसकुल्या मधुकुल्या मित्रविंदा श्रुतविंदा देवगर्भा घृतच्युदा मंत्रमालेति. In those 7 islands there are 7 boundary mountains known as Chakra, Chatu, Shring, Kapil, Chitrakut, Devanika, Urdhvaroma, and Ravina. There are also 7 rivers known as Ramkulya, Madhukulya, Mitravinda, Srutavinda, Devagarbha, Grihachuta, and Mantramala. याशां पयोभिः कुशद्वीपपोकशः कुशलकोविदाभियुक्तकुलसंज्ञां भगवन्तं जातवेदस्वरूपिणां कर्मकौशलेन यजन्ते. The inhabitants of the islands of Kushadvipa are celebrated as Kushalas, Kovidas, Abhiyuktas, and Kulakaks. They are like the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras respectively. By bathing in the waters of those rivers, they all become purified. They are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies according to the orders of the Vedic scriptures. Thus, they worship the Lord in his aspect as the demigod of fire, Agni Dev. Parasya Brahmana Sakshas Jata Vedo Asi Havyavat Devanam Purushanganam Yagena Purusham Yajeti. This is the mantra by which the inhabitants of Kushadvip worship the fire god. O fire god, you are a part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hare, and you carry to him all the offerings of sacrifices. Therefore, we request you to offer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead the yagnic ingredients we are offering the demigods, for the Lord is the real enjoyer. तथा घृतोद्विह क्रोचद्वीपो द्विगुणः स्वमानेन क्षीरोदन परित उपकल्पितो कृतो यथा कुशद्वीपो घृतोदेन यस्मिन् क्रोचो नाम पर्वतराजो द्वीप नाम निवर्तक आस्ते. Outside the ocean of clarified butter is another island known as Kronch-Dweep, which has a width of 1.6 million yojans or 12.8 million miles, twice the width of the ocean of clarified butter. As Kush-Dweep is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter, Kronch-Dweep is surrounded by an ocean of milk as broad as the island itself. On Kronch-Dweep there is a great mountain known as Kronch, from which the island takes its name. Yo aso gruha prahano janmatithi tani nitamb kunjo api kshirodena sichyamano bhagavata varunena abhigupto vibhayo bhaguva. Although the vegetables living on the slopes of Mount Kronch were attacked and devastated by the weapons of Kartikeya. The mountain has become fearless because it's always backed on all sides by the ocean of milk and protected by Varun Dev. तस्मिन् अपि प्रियव्रतो घृतपृष्ठो नामाधिपतिः स्वे द्वीपे वर्षाणि सप्त विभज्य तेषु पुत्र नामसु सप्त रिक्ताधान वर्ष पानिवेश्य स्वयं भगवान भगवतः परम कल्याण यश आत्मभूतस्य हरेश चरणारविंदम अपजगाम. The ruler of this island was another son of Maharaj Priyavrat. His name was Ghritapristha, and he was a very learned scholar. He also divided his own island among his 7 sons. After dividing the island into 7 parts, named according to the names of his sons, Ghritapristha Maharaj completely retired from family life and took shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, the soul of all souls, who has all auspicious qualities, does he attain perfection. आमो मगुरेह मेघपृष्ठ सुदामा भ्राजिष्ठो लोहितानो वनस्पतिरिति घृतपृष्ठ सुतास्तेषां वर्षगिरयः सप्त सप्तेव नदक्षा विख्याताः शुक्लो वर्धमानो भोजन उपबहिर्नो नंदो नंदनः सर्वतो भद्र इति अभया अमृतोघा आर्यका तीर्थवती रूपवती पवित्रवती शुक्लेति. The sons of Maharaj Ghritapristha were named Ama, Madhuruha, Meghaprishta, Sudhama, Bhrajistha, Lohitarna, and Vanaspati. In their island, there are 7 mountains which indicate the boundaries of the 7 tracts of the land, and there are also 7 rivers. The mountains are named Shukla, Vardhaman, Bhojana, Upabharihina, Nanda, Nandana, and Sarvato Bhatra. The rivers are named Abhay, Amrita, Aryak, Tirthavati, Rupavati, Pavitravati, and Shukla. Yasha Sambha Pavitram Mal Mupayujjana Purusha Rishi Bhadra Vina Devaka Sangyam Varsa Purusha Apumayam Devamapam Purnena Jalina Yajante. The inhabitants of Kranchadvip are divided into 4 castes called the Purushas, Rishabhs, Galinas, and Devakas. Using the waters of those sacrificed rivers, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering a palm full of water at the lotus feet of Varun, the demigod who has a form of water. आप है पुरुष वीर्या है स्तपुनंतिर भू भुव सुह तान है पुनीता में ध्वनि स्पृष्टा आत्मता मनाम भुवति. The inhabitants of Kranchadvip worship with this mantra, O water of the rivers, you have obtained energy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you purify the 3 planetary systems known as Bhulok, Bhurvalok, and Swarlok. By your constitutional nature, you take away sins, and that is why we are touching you. Kindly continue to purify us. एवं पुरस्ताक्षिरोदा उत्परित उपवेशित है शाकद्वीपो त्वत्रिंशल्लक्ष योजनायाम समानेन च दंडी दधिमंडोदेन परितो यस्मिन् शाको नाम महिरुह स्वक्षेत्र व्यपदेशको यस्य है महासूर भी गंधस्तम द्वीपमनुवास्यति. Outside the ocean of milk is another island, Sakadweep, which has a width of 3.2 million yojans, 25.6 million miles. As Kranchadweep is surrounded by its own ocean of milk, Sakadweep is surrounded by an ocean of Chand yogurt as broad as the island itself. In Sakadweep, there is a big sak tree from which the island takes its name. This tree is very fragrant. Indeed, it lends its scent to the entire island. तस्यापि प्रियव्रत एवाधिपतिर्नाम्ना मेधातिथिः सो अपि विभज्य 7 वर्षाणि पुत्रनामानि तेषु स्वातं जान् पुरोजम पुरोजव मनोजव पवमान ध्रुमानि कच्चित्र रेफ बहुरूप विश्वधार संज्ञान धाप्यधीत पतीन स्वयं भगवंत अनंत आवेशित मतिस्तपोवनम प्रविशेष. The master of this island also one of the sons of Privrat, was known as Medhatiti. He also divided his island into 7 sections, named according to the names of his own sons, whom he made the kings of that island. The names of those sons are Urojava, Manojava, Pavama, Dhumranika, Chitrarekha, Chitrarefa, Bahurupa, Vishwadhara, Vishwadhara. After dividing the island and situating his sons as his rulers, Medhatiti personally retired, and to fix his mind completely upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he entered a forest suitable for meditation. एतेषां वर्षमर्यादा गिर्यो नदक्ष सप्त सप्तेव ईशान उरु श्रृंगोम बलभद्र शतकेशरः सहस्र स्त्रोतो देवपालो महानस इति अनधा आयुर्दा उभय स्पृष्ट त्रिपराजिता पंचपदी सहस्र स्तुतिर निज धृतिरिति. For these lands also there are 7 boundary mountains and 7 rivers. The mountains are Isana, Urushringa, Balabhadra, Satkeshar, Sahastrostrot, Devapala, and Mahansa. The rivers are Anagha, Ayurda, Ubhashpristi, Aparjita, Panchapadi, Sahasrashruti, and Nijadhriti. Tatas Purusha, Ritavrata, Satyavarta, Danavrita, Anuvrita Namanu, Bhagwantam, Vyapatkam, Pranayam, Vidhuta, Jastamasha, Param Samadhina Yajante. The inhabitants of those islands are also divided into 4 castes: Ritavrit, Satyavrit, Dhanavrit, Tanavrit, and Anuvrit, which exactly resemble Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. They practice pranayam and mystic yoga, and in trance they worship the Supreme Lord in the form of Vayu. Antah pravishya bhutani yo bhivitrya atmaketubhi antaryami ishwarah sakshat patuno yat se sputam. The inhabitants of Sakdvip worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Vayu in the following words. O Supreme Person, situated as the Super Soul within the body, you direct the various actions of the different airs, such as Pran, and thus you maintain all living entities. O Lord, O Super Soul of everyone, O Controller of the cosmic manifestation, under whom everything exists, may you protect us from all dangers. एवमेव दधिमंडोदापरतः पुष्कर द्वीप स्थितो द्विगुणायामः समन्ततः उपकल्पितः समानेन स्वादुदकेन समुद्रेण बहिरावृतो यस्मिन् बृहत् पुष्करं ज्वलन् शिखा मलकनं कनकपत्रायुतायुतं भगवतः कमलासन शाध्यायासनं परिकल्पितम्. Outside the ocean of yogurt is another island known as Pushkar Dweep, which is 6.4 million yojans, 51.2 million miles wide, twice as wide as the ocean of yogurt. It is surrounded by an ocean of very tasteful water, as broad as the island itself. On Pushkar Dweep, there is a great lotus flower with 100 million pure golden petals, as effulgent as the flames of fire. That lotus flower is considered the sitting place of Lord Brahma, who is the most powerful living being and who is therefore sometimes called Bhagwan. ततद्वीप मध्ये मानसोत्तर नामेक एवार वाचिन पराचीन वर्षयो मर्यादा चलो अयुत योजनो क्षार्यो यायाम यत्र तु चतशिषु दिक्षु चत्वारि पुराणि लोकपालानाम् इंद्रादिनाम् यदु परिस्तात सूर्यरथस्य मेरुं परिभ्रमतः संवत्सरात्मकं चक्रम देवाना महा Mahoratrabhyam Paribhamati. In the middle of that island is a great mountain named Manosatta, which forms the boundary between the inner side and outer side of the island. Its breadth and height are 10,000 yojans, 80,000 miles. On that mountain, in the 4 directions, are the residential quarters of demigods such as Indra. In this chariot of the sun god, the sun travels on the top of the mountain in an orbit called Samvatsara, encircling Mount Meru. The sun's path on the northern side is called Uttarayan, and its path on the southern side is called Dakshinayan. One side represents a day for the demigods, and the other represents the night, their night. तत्द्वीपस्याप्यधिपति प्रेयवृत्तो वितिहोत्रो नामे तस्यात्मजो रमणकधात किमानान् किनानामानो वर्षपति नियुज्य स स्वयं पूर्वजवद्गत गत्व कर्मशील एवास्ते. The ruler of this island, the son of Maharaj Priyavrat, named Vitihotra, had two sons named Ramanaka and Dataki. He granted the two sides of the islands to these two sons and then personally engaged himself in the activities for the sake of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like his elder brother Medhatithi. ततर्ष पुरुषा भगवन्तं ब्रह्मरूपिणं सकर्मकेन कर्मणा आराध्य चिन्तितं चोदहरन्ति. For the fulfillment of material desires, the inhabitants of this tract of land worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as represented by Lord Brahma. They offer prayers to the Lord as follows. यतत् कर्ममयं लिङ्गं ब्रह्मलिङ्गं जनोर्चेत् एकान्तमद्वयं शान्तं तस्मै भगवते नमः इति. Lord Brahma is known as Karma Maya, the form of ritualistic ceremonies, because by performing ritualistic ceremonies one may attain his position, and because the Vedic ritualistic hymns become manifest from him, he is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead without deviation. And therefore, in one sense, he is not different from the Lord. Nevertheless, he should be worshipped not as the monists worship him, but in the duality. One should always remain a servitor of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Worshipable Deity. We therefore offer our respectful obeisance unto Lord Brahma, the form of manifest Vedic knowledge. ऋषुवाच ततः प्रस्तालोकालोकनामाचलो लोकालोकयोरन्तर्काराले परितोक्षितः. Therefore, beyond the ocean of sweet water and fully surrounding it, it's a mountain named Lokaloka, which divides the countries that are full of sunlight from those that are not lit by sunlight. यावन मानसो उत्तरमे वोरंतरम तावती भूमि काचन्या आदर्शत लोकमा यश्याम प्रहितः पदार्थो न कथचित पुनः प्रत्युपलभ्यते तस्मात् सर्वसत्व परिरितासितः. Beyond the ocean of sweet water is a tract of land as broad as the area between the middle of Mount Sumeru and the boundary of Manosatta mountain. In that tract of land there are many living beings. Beyond it, extending the Lokalok mountain, is another land which is made of gold. Because of its golden surface, it reflects light like the surface of a mirror, and any physical article that falls on that land can never be perceived again. All living entities, therefore, have abandoned that golden land. लोकालोक इति समाख्या यद नेना चलेन लोकालोक शांतवर्तिना अवस्थाप्यते. Between the lands inhabited by living entities and those that are uninhabited stands the great mountain which separates the two and which is therefore celebrated as Kalok. स लोकत्रयान्ते परित ईश्वरेण विहितो यस्मात् सूर्यादीनां दुर्वापवर्गानां ज्योतिर्गणानां गभस्त्यो अवार्चिनाम स्त्रीम लोकान वित्तन्वानान कदाचित् पराचीना भवितु मुत्सहन्ते तावदुन्हनायामः. By the supreme will of Krishna, the mountain known as Lokalok has been installed as the outer border of the three worlds, Bhurlok, Bhuarlok, and Swarlok, to control the rays of the sun throughout the universe. All the luminaries from the sun up to Dhruvlok distribute their rays throughout the three worlds, but only within the boundary formed by the mountain, because it is extremely high, extending even higher than Dhruvalok. It blocks the rays of the luminaries, which therefore can never extend beyond it. So I'm going to pause here. Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. और श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय.